Once upon a time, in a tiny village surrounded by green hills and singing rivers, there lived a bright and beautiful girl named Rose. She was 8 years old, with shiny brown eyes that sparkled like morning dew and hair as soft as clouds. Rose lived with her grandparents, who loved her dearly. Their home was small but cozy, with flowers blooming outside the windows and the smell of fresh baked bread always floating from the kitchen. In Rose's village, life was simple and peaceful. The children walked long distances to school, singing songs along the dusty paths. Some of them had never seen a car or visited a town. But they didn't mind. They played with sticks, pebbles, and butterflies, laughing from sunrise to sunset. Still, Rose often dreamed about the world beyond the hills. Her grandmother once told her stories about towns full of tall buildings, glowing lights, and magical things called malls, where people could buy anything they wanted. Rose listened, wide-eyed, imagining how wonderful it would be if her little village could be just like that. One starry night, as Rose lay snuggled beneath her warm blanket, she heard a soft twinkle-twinkle sound near her window. She sat up and rubbed her eyes. Out of the moonlight floated a tiny glowing fairy with sparkling wings that shimmered in all colors of the rainbow. "Don't be scared, Rose," said the fairy in a voice as sweet as sugar. "I'm your friend. My name is Leela, the fairy star, and tonight I've come to grant you one wish." Rose gasped in surprise. "One wish? Really? Anything I want?" "Anything your heart desires," said Lila, smiling. Rose thought for a moment. Then her eyes lit up. "I know! I want my village to look like a big town with shiny roads, cars, malls, lights, and everything close by so we don't have to walk so far." Leela clapped her tiny hands. "A wonderful wish indeed. Close your eyes, Rose, and believe." Rose closed her eyes tight and whispered, "I wish my village could be like a town." A swirl of golden dust filled the room, spinning faster and faster until everything shone like starlight. Rose felt a soft breeze, and when she opened her eyes, she gasped. Her little village had changed. There were tall buildings shining in the moonlight, cars gliding down smooth roads, and glowing street lamps lighting every corner. The children's houses now had windows that twinkled like diamonds. And right in the center of the village stood a big, beautiful mall with colorful lights. The next morning, everyone woke up in amazement. "Look, what happened to our village?" they cried. "It's like magic." At first, everyone was excited. There were shiny cars to ride, shops to explore. But after a few days, something strange began to happen. The birds no longer sang as loudly. The rivers didn't sparkle the same. The sweet smell of wildflowers was gone. The children missed playing under the big old trees. And the grandparents missed sitting by the fire under the stars. Rose began to feel a little sad. "It's all beautiful," she said, "but it doesn't feel like home anymore." That night, she called softly into the breeze, "Lila, fairy star, are you there?" In a blink, Lila appeared again, her wings glowing gently. "Did something go wrong, Rose?" she asked kindly. Rose nodded. "Everything looks lovely, but our happiness comes from the little things. The songs, the flowers, the walk to school. I think I want my old village back, just as it was." The fairy smiled warmly. "You have a kind and wise heart. Rose, you've learned something very special, that real magic lives in the hearts of people, not in shiny things." She waved her wand, and sparkles filled the sky. When Rose opened her eyes again, the tall buildings were gone. The mall had disappeared. The river sang again, and the stars twinkled brighter than ever. The next morning, the villagers were happy once more. The cars had turned back into bicycles and ox carts. The air was fresh, the birds were singing, and laughter filled the fields. Rose hugged her grandparents and smiled. "We already had the most magical place in the world," she said softly. From that day on, whenever Rose looked up at the night sky, she could see one tiny star shining brighter than the rest. Lila, the fairy star, winking down at her. And Rose knew that true magic wasn't in the things she could wish for, but in the love, laughter, and dreams that filled her little village.